Long time no see. Just got back from Florida a little while ago. I actually recorded this video last night, but I put it on slow-mo. So it was like an hour and 15-minute video that I couldn't upload. So here we are again. I'll try to do it again just as good as I did the first time. But days are getting longer. Fishing season's right around the corner. It's almost springtime and the bass are going to spawn soon. So what I want to show you today is where I believe they take for their travel routes to get from where they spawn at, from where they're wintering at to where they spawn at. A lot of people go out there and they don't understand that they know they're catching fish and they know where they're catching fish, but they don't understand why. So helping you understand the fish movements is going to help you catch more fish, because then not only are you going to catch them in the pre-spawn, but you're going to catch them spawning, and then you're going to catch them in the post-spawn, which I'll go into a later detailed video on where they're going to go after they spawn. And this will help you a lot as far as where to fish at, because then you're going to kind of be able to, in your mind, visualize the routes that these fish are taking and how they're going to get there. So first things first, this is going to be on reservoirs. My home lake is a reservoir, so that's what I'm going to focus on. This applies to any reservoir in the country that has a main lake channel and creek channels. Okay, so I'm going to start out by showing you where they're going to be in the wintertime. Okay, this is our main channel. That's your main lake channel right there. Okay, and these fish in the wintertime sit in this channel and suspend, so that's why they're so hard to catch when it's really extremely cold and extreme temperatures. You're not going to catch as many of them because they're out in the main channel for the most part. Okay, now this is going to be one example of many. You'll just have to go around your lake or body of water and pick it apart the same way as this. Okay, so if we have say this is a long extending point, right? And then there's a grass bed right here. This is all grass here. I don't know if you can see that or not, okay? And then it goes back into a long open cove and then comes back out to the main lake, okay? If this point right here has structure on it, the first move that these fish are gonna make are they're gonna come out of this channel and go right here, okay? They never go, it's kind of like if you're going on a long drive and you're going, say you're driving to California. You're not going to go right from California all the way to where you're going without stopping, right? So these fish are going to do the same thing. They use stopping points where they're going to feed and eventually work their way back to where they're going to spawn. So in your mind, you got to think, okay, where do I think these fish are going to spawn? Now, some of them do spawn on the main lake, so they're not going to go far. You'll just have to figure out what their travel routes are to get there. But if they're traveling short distances to the back of a creek or the back of a cove, or even in the cove anywhere, where it's the reason they use those is because they're protected. They're going to be protected from a north wind. Those are the better spawning flats. You also want to look for hard bottom. Anywhere there's hard bottom, your depth finder will read a bright red, you know, on your regular sonar palette. So that makes it easy to identify hard bottom as well. But say you have a flat here over on this side, and the sun angle is here, because you want a bank that the sun is going to stay on majority of the time. Okay, a bank in the shade is not going to be good in the springtime because they need that sunlight to hatch the eggs. So the first place I'm going to look when that water temperature goes, you know, gets into the 45 to 50 mark in the northeast is this point. Okay, any point that's close to that river channel or main lake channel is the first place they're going to go. So say you're fishing here, you know, casting onto this point, and you're catching a couple of them this week, and then the water temperature warms up a little bit, and next week you can't catch a fish there. Okay, so the question is, where did they go? Okay, now if there's some kind of structure, which most coves there are, back here, say there's even a secondary channel, a secondary point that comes off in the cove somewhere. Some of these fish, if there's a flat right here, some of these fish are just going to stay here until they're ready to go, and then they're going to spawn right here, okay? But in this particular example, this sunlight is hitting this bank all the time. See, this bank will stop it. This sunlight will stop it from getting sun on this bank here. So this is the bank that you're going to want to focus on, because that sun hits it for the majority of the time. So if the sun goes down over here, right, this is the bank that you want, the side where the sun goes down. Okay, so say they start out here. This is the first stop. You catch them here, then they disappear. You don't know where they went. Water starts warming up. This is your creek channel that comes out to the main lake channel. That side is where they're going to travel. They're going to use these channels as their highways, right? So this is the first stop. They come right up out of this channel, stop here. Then they're going to either, like I said, some of them will spawn here. If they're not spawning and you don't know where they went, this secondary point would be a good stopping point to follow them back. Okay, so you see where I'm going with this? They start in this main channel, start on this first point, then they get in that creek channel, work their way down, then they stop here, feed for a little bit. Then what they're going to do, all right, now, like I said, if there's structure, stumps or something here, they may even stop here instead of here. So you want to check all those areas. But what they're doing is working their way over to this flat. Now the question is, why wouldn't they just get in this channel and go to this flat? Some of them will, but majority of them you're going to catch on these stopping points first. They're going to stop here, eat for a week or so. Stop here, eat for a week or so. Maybe even stop here, eat for a week or so. And they're going to work their way around to that sun beat bank. Okay, this is going to be hard bottom. There might be some stumps and stuff on there. This is where you're going to find majority of them spawning, okay? Now, if you're going to look on the main, off the main lake and you want to find something protected, say there's something here that's protecting this bank, right? I don't know what it is. It might be a break or a road that goes over the lake or something that's going to break that water up and stop rough waves from hitting that, okay? Some of them will come out of this channel, go to this point, and then you're like, well, I caught a few here, but not as many as I expect. Try going this way. So maybe they may stay on this point, but there's, say, a rock pile or something right here, right? They may go this way. Some of them will go this way, stop on that rock pile, and then work their way onto this flat to eventually spawn here on this grass. Now, if you're checking grass for spawning fish, you want to fish on the inside edge of that grass, not the outside edge. The outside edge is better in the summertime, but when they want to stay protected from predators and make a bed and stay in as peaceful as they can, they're going to be closest to this bank, so they're going to be on the inside edge. Okay. So like I said, this is one example. You want to get a map of the lake that's near you, and you want to figure out where that main lake channel is. Where there's structure that's near that main lake channel and or coves or even little indentions. It may only be, you know, a small indention and not a full cove. Well, I would check that indention too on the sun beat side, which would be this side, even if there's no creek channel in here, okay? Because they can come right off this main lake. Maybe there's some rip-rap or something right here, or even some logs. They'll come out of that main channel, start on those logs, and you sit there, you know, roam this bank for a couple weeks and then go in here to spawn. So the main things you want to look for are sun-driven banks that are in the sun the longest. It has to be hard bottom, structure, and near a creek channel or a main lake channel, okay? Those are all things that you're definitely going to want to look for, and it's protected from a north wind. So on any given lake, any given river, you can find banks that are exactly like this, and I mean, it helps you to figure out where they're going to, okay? So instead of just knowing that you're catching fish where, the reason why is also important, because then you can follow them for weeks and even months at a time. So this is just one example of many. It starts about 45 degrees is when they'll really start moving out of those channels. Some fish don't even live in the main channel during the winter time. Even if it's in the 30s, they'll still, some of them stay shallow year round. So, but majority of the fish, which is what I'm targeting and talking about here, are these ones you're going to find that come out of this main channel. So I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, let me know. This is the second time doing this video, so I may have missed some things, but after this is all over and it gets going again, I'll give you a couple baits that I would use to go about this, and then the movement that they're going to make from post spawn out to summer. So hope you guys learned something, and it won't be long here, and we'll see you soon.